Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a fabulous Monday. Today I'm coming at you with our weekly Minks Monday Q&A. Before we get started, let me share the bag that I'm currently rocking, and that is the Louis Vuitton Neverfull MM in the Demi-Ebene canvas. Alright, so grab your coffee, grab your tea, let's start your workout, let's go to work, let's do your laundry, whatever it is that you do, come join me. We have some awesome topics to cover today. Starting with the first question from Bella V. Amy, hopefully I said that correctly. I recently bought the Louis Vuitton Pochette Metis and love it, though I find the strap a little uncomfortable. Digs into my shoulder if I stuff the bag. It's okay if I keep the contents less. Our family might be going to Rome next month, and I wanted to know if you think that the bag is okay to carry for sightseeing. Also, do you think that I would attract attention of pickpockets, etc.? Would love to know what you think. This is a fantastic question, and I do have the Pochette Metis here, so we have a little bit of eye candy. Now, do I think that this bag would be great to use for sightseeing? Absolutely, I do. And that's because of a few different reasons. I love the fact that this is a bag that you can end up, that lays flat up against your body. It's not cumbersome, but it's not super small either. It's not like you can only carry a few different items because it does have a very large size, but again, not to the point where it's going to get in the way. So I do love that. And I also feel that because of how it opens up, it's not necessarily going to pop open, you know, like if you had, I don't know, I feel like it's a little bit more secure. I know that most people think that the zipper, something with a zipper would be a little bit better of a way to go, but I think that because of the S-lock that it has, it's also very, very secure. Okay, now as far as pickpockets go, that's kind of a 50-50, and I only say that because it is the monogram canvas, and I do feel that it does end up attracting attention. But what I end up doing whenever I use any of the bags for travel, I actually end up putting them underneath my coat or underneath my sweater because I feel that it makes it a little bit more inconspicuous than having the bag kind of out and about. You know what I mean? So that's something that you can end up doing. But like I said, it's 50-50. It's all a matter of how comfortable you feel. But I feel that if you were to put it underneath your coat, if you were to have it up against your body a little bit closer because you have it underneath your jacket or whatever it is, it might give you a little bit more peace of mind, and it might make it even easier to navigate through the crowds without necessarily having to hold onto your bag or anything like that. Because I know, you know, anytime you visit, if it's Rome or Paris or any of those beautiful cities, they do have quite a bit of people there at the same time. So again, just being able to navigate through the crowds with something like the Pochette Metis that's not too bulky, that's not going to protrude off of your body, I think that this is a fabulous, fabulous bag to go for sightseeing. So yes, I highly recommend it. And if you do end up going to Rome, how exciting. I hope you have a blast and safe travels. And hopefully that was able to answer your question. All right, next one from Terrafin Sidker. I saw the Wight bag at my local Louis Vuitton boutique, and I wanted to know your thoughts on it as it's on my mind. Do you think it's seasonal or here to stay? It reminds me of the Chloe Drew bag, but in a better construction from Louis Vuitton. Fabulous question, and yes, I did see the Wight bag, and I will insert a picture right now. Now the Wight bag retails for $22.60 here in the States. It's available in 3 different colors, the noir, the Bordeaux, and then there's a really light pink, I forget the color. And I am super attracted to this bag as well. And it was launched June of this year, and when I called a few days ago just to make sure, I asked if it was part of their permanent collection, and I was informed that yes, it is. It is not a seasonal bag, which makes it even better. All right, so how do I feel about this bag? Besides the fact that I think it's gorgeous, I feel that it offers quite a bit. There are a few things that I kind of dance with, and I'll get into that in just a second. So what I love about it, I love the fact that it's Demi-Ebene. I love the fact that it also is a little bit, it's a little bit more elevated because it does have the microfiber interior. It does have that beautiful strip of leather that kind of adds to the beauty of the Demi-Ebene, and it also has that gorgeous chain. Another thing that I like about the chain is that it doesn't have the shoulder strap that most chains have. You know what I mean? Like they have a little strip of leather to make the bag more comfortable. I get that. But in this particular instance, I feel that the chain just speaks volumes because it doesn't have that leather strip or anything like that. And it's a structured bag. It's small, but it fits quite a bit in there. And I love the bag. I love the bag. I love the simplicity that it has. The only thing, as I said before, that I dance with is the price point, because yes, it is $22.60 and it's mostly canvas. It does have that gorgeous interior that I talked about, and it also has that strip of leather that adds to it, but at the same time, it's mostly canvas. And that's for me where I usually draw the line at the $2,000 price point for canvas bags. For that price point, I usually end up preferring to go for an all leather handbag, whether it's from Louis Vuitton or if it's from a different fashion house. But again, that's my own personal preference. However, it does not take away from how gorgeous this bag is, you know? And every time I go into the boutique, I see it, it's in the background, and I'm just, wow, I'm like, this bag it's beautiful. It's small, but it fits so much. It's very versatile. And I just think, I think it's amazing. So personally, I go back and forth. I don't know if this is something that I'm going to be adding to the wish list, only because I have to be realistic about my own price point and, you know, what I feel would add to my collection. But I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this bag, because it is beautiful. And again, I love the fact that it's Damier Ebene, because there's mostly, I mean, usually when you see new bags, they're mostly monogram, and I like monogram, but I'm just attracted to Damier Ebene even more so. So the fact that there's a bag out there that's strictly Damier Ebene just makes it even better. I don't know. But again, I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts down below. All right, next question from Alicia Samuels. I'm coming to California for the first time a week from today, San Diego. I am so torn with what to pack. I live where it's pretty cold right now, 29 to 40 degrees, but it's not windy at all, so it's tolerable. I want to bring dresses and skirts and shorts. Lord knows these legs need some sunshine. But I don't want to look cute but freeze my butt off. Suggestions, any advice would be much appreciated. All right, fantastic question. Now, when it comes to San Diego, it could be a little kind of in the air, only because it can be partly cloudy, especially this time of year. But it's still not crazy cold either. And I kind of have to detach from the Southern California part of me, because like I've said in other videos, if it's 60 degrees, we're running for our jackets, we're running for our sweaters and our scarves, and we're like, oh, it's freezing compared to your 29, 40 degree weather. So I think you can get away with, like if you decide to bring a pair of jeans, you can wear a t-shirt. If you decide to wear a sweater, you can wear shorts. It's either one or the other, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't recommend wearing sweaters and jeans. It might be too much. Like on my vlog last week, I was wearing shorts. I was wearing a short sleeve shirt and then a cardigan, or I'll end up switching the cardigan to my monogram shawl from Louis Vuitton, and then I'm good to go. And sometimes it gets super hot and I just take that off as well. So it's you'll be okay to wear the skirts or the shorts, and just bring a cardigan with you just in case if you get a little chilly, but I think you'll be okay. But hopefully that was able to answer your question, and I hope you have a wonderful time when you are in San Diego. All right, next question from Life's Little Luxuries. For a few months, I've been thinking of which Neverfull to get. Azure, Mon Monogram, World Tour. I know how much you love the Neverfull. However, I recently discovered the Louis Vuitton Flandre. What are your thoughts on it compared to the Neverfull? I love that there's no vachetta. Also, it appears more structured. This is a wonderful question. So yes, I am a big fan of the Neverfull. A lot of you know that. I have it. I have the size in all 3 canvas prints. Now let me share a picture of the Flandre, and I will insert that right now. All right, now the Louis Vuitton Flandre retails for $18.60 here in the States. It's available in 3 different colors, and it is very, very similar to a Neverfull. The biggest difference between them is the fact that this one does have the textile lining, that one has the microfiber interior, and it also has a divider on the pocket here. There's also another huge difference, and that's the fact that the Flandre also comes with a detachable shoulder strap, which makes the bag even more versatile. So for me, I prefer the Neverfull just because I feel that it's a little bit more carefree. I do like the fact that it does have the textile lining where I don't have to necessarily worry about the interior, but I also like the fact that the Flandre does have that extra organization. It does have that detachable strap that makes it even more versatile for the price point that it has compared to this one. This one you can use on the crook of your arm, you can hand carry. But mostly, or it depends on the size that you go for the Neverfull, you can end up putting it over your shoulder. Whereas that one, you can do all three of them, and you can use it crossbody if that's something that you wanted to use. I know that the strap drop for the crossbody bag might be a little bit shorter if I'm not mistaken, but still, it's another option that you have, or if you wanted to have use it as a longer shoulder bag. My goodness, I'm getting all tongue-tied as usual. So I also think the fact that it does have the corners on the sides, I always worry with that only because I feel that I don't know how it'll end up wearing over time. Yes, it does have that beautiful leather, and it won't be as, you know, it's not as delicate as what I once thought it was, but I always think of the corner wear. Like if you were to set this down with the canvas, you don't really have to worry. It's a little bit more carefree. And if you have the leather, I feel that it might end up wearing a little bit more that route. But I still think it's great. And again, for the price point that it is, you do get a lot of bang for your buck. And the taupe one that they have with the pink interior, oh my goodness, that one is just, it is gorgeous as well. And I don't think it's a bad price point for as big as the bag is, and again, what it offers at $18.60. So again, for my own personal preference, I prefer the Neverfull, but the Flandre does offer quite a bit. So hopefully that was able to answer your question. All right, next one from Thus Spoke Talia. Hopefully I said that correctly. Hi, Minnie, long-time listener, first-time caller, LOL. Question, what do you think about the Chanel Gold Bar top handle? I believe it's from the 2016 collection, and it's similar to the trendy CC and a few other bags from Chanel with the top handle and non-removable shoulder strap. This would be my first Chanel purchase and most expensive handbag purchase by far. I considered going the more traditional route and getting a vintage double flap, but for my lifestyle, a top handle bag with a shoulder strap and a slightly roomier interior would work better. What do you think of the Chanel top handle bags in general? And what do you think of buying one as your first Chanel item instead of a flap or a wallet on chain? These are wonderful questions. All right, so I am a big fan of the Chanel Gold Bar top handle bag. I really like that they paired the antique gold hardware. I don't have a picture of it, so I will put a link on the description box below if I can find it, if you guys want to check it out for further eye candy. But I like the fact that it has that antique gold hardware, and I really like the finish that they chose for the leather. I feel that both of those two complement each other, and I think it makes for a really great combination. All right, so what do I think of top handle bags in general? I really like a lot of the Chanel top handle bags, whether it's the Business Affinity, the Coco handle is one of my favorites, and would I ever end up getting one of those as my first Chanel item versus a flap or a wallet on chain? Absolutely. If I had the type of lifestyle, like you said, you'd get a lot more use out of a top handle bag because it's a lot more versatile. It's something that ends up working out for your lifestyle that much better. Then I would definitely end up going that route, because for me, in my own personal taste, I prefer a shoulder bag or I prefer a tote. I like the flat bags, but if I wanted to use something, if I knew that I could incorporate it into my daily lifestyle, if I knew that I'd get quite a bit of use out of it, then hands down I would end up going that route. But like I said before, I'm a big fan of top handle bags. I think that they offer quite a bit. I love the fact that they're versatile, and some of them are just, I feel that they have that, like that old, like that vintage look, like that 1940s look that I'm very much attracted to, but they also are very modernized in the sense that they have the shoulder strap or they have the crossbody option that you can end up doing as well. So I think it's great, and again, I really like the combination that they chose for this particular bag. And the price point isn't too bad either compared to the trendy, because the trendy CC, or the trendy bag, I think the largest size is like $6,000, right? 6,000 or 6,500, I can't remember, but it is a crazy price point. It is gorgeous, and it offers quite a bit because of the organization that it has, but it's still a pretty, it's a pretty price point, you know what I mean? So the gold bar is great, and again, if it's something that ends up suiting your lifestyle, hands down, I would end up going for that first over a walk, over a flap, or over any other traditional, you know, more traditional bag from Chanel that people go for. So hopefully that was able to answer your question. All right, next one from MQS1. What are your thoughts on the mini backpack trend? I'm adding Louis Vuitton mini Palm Springs to my wish list. However, I'm not sold on it, being 40 plus and leaning towards classic pieces. Is the mini backpack the new crossbody bag, or should it be reserved for the schoolyard? This is a fabulous question. All right, so when it comes to what are my thoughts on the mini backpack trend? I am obsessed with mini backpacks. I am constantly just I gravitate towards them. I'm attracted to them. I have had two, not necessarily mini backpacks from Louis Vuitton, but they've been backpacks nonetheless. And I've just come to the realization that they don't end up working out for my lifestyle. I don't like the fact that I feel that I constantly have to just kind of pop my shoulders up in order to carry it on, you know, on one shoulder. But I love the way that they look. I love the fact that especially the mini backpack holds a crazy amount of items. Like I see people on Instagram and they have water bottles, they have like 6 or 7 small leather goods. Of course, they're very, very narrow or anything like that, but still it carries quite a bit. It's very deceiving. Like we've all discussed with, you know, smaller handbags. Just because they're small doesn't mean that you can't get away with carrying, you know, a crazy amount of items. So I love them. And I think it is a great crossbody option as well because it has the versatility of wanting to use it crossbody. You can use it on your shoulder, you can carry it or whatever it is. So you have a lot of options. It's not like you're limited to just using it one particular way and then you're kind of stuck with using it that way if you're out and about or running errands or what have you. So I think it's great. Now, as far as you said that you normally end up going for classic bags. I feel that I'm kind of the same way, but adding the mini backpack would add a really nice variety to your collection and it would throw a wrench into your collection. And who knows, it might end up opening, you know, the gates to a completely different style of bag that you would have normally not gravitated towards before. And now you're just thinking, oh, you know, maybe I won't end up using it too much. Who knows? Or you might end up using it a lot more than you would anticipate. So I feel that if you have your classics covered and you're still attracted to the mini backpack and you want to throw a wrench into your collection, if you want to add that variety, then I say hands down, go for the Palm Springs Mini. Now, as far as age, I think that age is just a number. I don't feel that any handbag, you know, is limited to if you're in your early 20s, if you're in your 30s, or anything like that. I don't think any bag is too mature or too young to wear. Age is just a number, as I said, and you are only as old as you feel. So I say go for it. Buy that bag, rock that bag, and let us know what you end up thinking about the mini backpack, because I still end up seeing it everywhere and I'm like, oh, I want the bag, but I know I won't end up using it just because of what I've experienced in the past. So hopefully that was able to answer your question. All right, next one from Meeper Loves. Would you still buy Non-Luxe bags if they make your heart sing? I love my Louis Vuittons, but I've been drooling over a Fossil satchel bag. It's cute, discreet, and girl, the price looks good too. This is an awesome question. All right, so would I still buy Non-Luxe bags if they make my heart sing? Abso-freaking-lutely I would, hands down. Because yes, you know, like most of us here, we all love the luxury handbags. We think that they're great, they're wonderful, but there are also bags that don't have these crazy price points that have amazing quality and they have details that some of the luxury bags don't end up having. So absolutely I do. Case in point, when we were at Cabazon, I actually ended up going for a backpack. You know, and I've said before that I'm not really, you know, backpacks aren't for me as far as wearing them out and about every day. But I ended up getting a North Face backpack. And I can tell you, no, I won't be using it like a handbag or anything like that. But I can tell you, I am so excited to use the backpack for travel. I'm just as excited about using it as if I were to get a brand new Chanel handbag or anything like that, just because the price point's great, the quality is great, and I know that it's a bag that I'll end up using for, you know, forever and ever as far as the backpack goes. So yeah, absolutely. I say, you know, if there's a bag out there, even if it doesn't have, you know, that that crazy alarm of a price point, if it makes your heart sing, regardless if it's expensive, if it's less expensive, if it's whatever it is, I think that you should feed that singing heart regardless, and you know, just end up going for it. I also have to say one thing. I feel that when it comes to bags that aren't luxury, that have phenomenal price points, sometimes I feel like I enjoy those a lot more because I don't have to subconsciously baby the bag. You know what I mean? Like I try to, or I use the bags, but I'm also still kind of like, okay, you know, I want to make sure that I don't use it in this type of weather. I want to make sure I don't do this, do that, or what have you. But when you have a really, really friendly price point and it still has that great quality, then it's kind of like, yeah, enjoy it, use it. And I feel like I use that item a lot more. I don't know. So hopefully that was able to answer your question. All right, and the last question, I believe, this is from Amanda Hack. Hopefully I said that correctly. I'm considering the Louis Vuitton Favorite MM for my second luxury bag purchase. First was Classic Speedy Monogram 25. Congratulations. What are your thoughts on the Favorite MM, and do you have suggestions for a similar smallish crossbody bag, considering the Pochette Metis too? This is a great question. All right, so what do I think about the Favorite? I'm a big fan of the Favorite handbag. I feel that it's a lot more of an elevated design from what the Eva clutch was, and I felt that it was a little bit more, discreet in a sense. It didn't have too much hardware or anything like that. I particularly liked it in the monogram canvas. The only thing that I wasn't crazy about when it came to the Favorite is how it ended up laying on my body frame, only because I felt that whenever I would end up using it crossbody, if I was to open up the flap, it would end up hitting my chest. So it ended up being a little too small for me, and I didn't have that the strap that I can kind of adjust to make it a little bit longer. But I still think it is a beautiful bag nonetheless. And it's also very, very versatile, especially for the price point that it has. There is another handbag that I would recommend. It retails for $1,100 here in the States. It's the Palace clutch. And that one is also a little bit more elevated from the Favorite. So I feel that the Favorite is elevated from the Eva clutch, and the Palace clutch is elevated from the Favorite, you know what I mean? Because it does have microfiber leather, or it has microfiber interior, it has leather, there's a few different colors to choose from, and it's also very small, but you can get away with carrying quite a bit of items inside. So I think that if you want to go for the Favorite, if that's something that really attracts you, like I said, it is versatile, it has a phenomenal price point, then I highly recommend it. If you want something a little bit more luxurious with a little bit more of that detail, then I would end up going for the Palace clutch. But I feel that between the two, I honestly feel that you can carry a little bit more in the Favorite, the MM in particular, versus the PM. The PM is a little bit too small for my taste anyways, but the MM I feel fits quite a bit of items. So hopefully that was able to answer your question. And the Pochette Metis, a lot of you know, that is one of my all-time favorite handbags. I end up using it all the time, so I also recommend that one, but of course it's a lot larger and it has a little bit more of a higher price point than the Favorite. All right, and I do have one last question, and that is from Carrie Jones. The more YouTube videos I watch, the more I hear about issues with pieces and things having to be fixed. Glazing, cracking, peeling, chipping, etc. I'm starting to get nervous. If the brand is so wonderful, why so many issues? I feel like when you spend this amount of money on an item, it shouldn't have any issues. I know you're a big fan, so maybe I'm worrying for nothing. I would love to hear your honest thoughts about the brand and the quality. This is an amazing question, and I am a huge fan of Louis Vuitton. I have been collecting them. I have been using them for so many years now. But at the same time, I cannot deny the fact that I also feel that their quality has changed drastically within the last 10, 12 years. Before, I felt that the canvas was a little bit thicker. I felt that, it didn't feel as lightweight as it is now. And I know that a lot of people prefer the lightweight canvas because it is a lot more comfortable to use, if you're out and about, or if you're using it crossbody or on your shoulder or anything like that. But I also feel that the quality, like I said, has drastically changed. I kind of had a little bit of not necessarily a bad experience, but I think it was probably now 2.5 years ago. I was having issue after issue after issue going on with the fashion house. I was having a lot of I was having a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth when it came to customer service, and I decided to step back altogether from the fashion house. I actually didn't end up purchasing anything from Louis Vuitton for about a year, maybe a year and a couple months. I took some time off, and that's really when my love for Chanel started to kind of fuel the fire, if you will. And even though Louis Vuitton does have its has some quality control issues, I can't deny that. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's always going to happen. I feel that a lot of things are a case-by-case scenario. I really wish that when it came to something that everyone is experiencing, I would love it if they said, yeah, you know, you're right, this item is faulty, instead of trying to hide behind something. I would appreciate that a lot more, you know. And it's kind of like, for me, Louis Vuitton is kind of like Coach, as far as it's one of my first loves. I appreciate the history of the handbags, or the fashion house. I appreciate what it brings to the table, but I really hope, I sincerely hope that they end up going back to their roots in a sense, and they start to really realize and start to come to terms with customer service in general. I strongly feel that if it came down to customer service, I would appreciate it if they were a little bit more understanding if something happened, and they didn't treat people like we are crazy for bringing up something. Like if a zipper completely detaches, or if a seam just falls off, or if a handle rips off, or whatever it is, if we brought it to someone's attention, I'm not talking about, you know, someone bringing in a bag or bringing in an item that's perfectly fine and they're just nitpicking a type of detail. And I know that's kind of a gray area. I'm talking about the fact when you know that there are multiple people that are experiencing the exact same issue, and instead they just say, oh, we'll fix it, there's nothing wrong with it. When clearly, if so many people are having the same thing happen, then it is an issue, you know? And I feel that if they were a little bit more understanding on that sense, and they didn't make us feel like we were crazy, and they kind of understood where we were coming from, I feel that it would make the experience a lot better, and it wouldn't leave such a bad taste in people's mouths, you know what I mean? Because if you brought it up, if it was faulty, and if they said, you know what, you're absolutely right, this is faulty, we should recall them, or whatever it was, then I feel that, I know myself, I'm only going to speak for myself, I would be like, oh, okay, you know, you get me. You understand that I'm not just crazy. And at the same time, when it comes to the price point that these items have, I most certainly expect them to last more than 3 months, than 4 months, 5 months, or what have you. I'm not saying that they're going to be indestructible by any means whatsoever. I get that, and I understand that at the end of the day, it's still an item, but I do expect it to last a lot longer than 3 months. And if someone uses something in seldom rotation and it starts to have issues, then clearly it's a quality control issue. So I feel that if they rectified the situation, if they understood where I was coming from, and they didn't necessarily brush it off like, oh, no, it's just your item. And the other 200, 300 people that are experiencing the same thing, they're expecting too much of the item, then no, I don't agree with that by any means whatsoever. And I don't think, you know, I know it's all a case-by-case scenario. There are people out there that have never had a single solitary issue with Louis Vuitton, whether it's a year ago, 10 years ago, or 20 years ago, and I think that that is amazing. So I say give it a try. If it ends up... if it doesn't end up working out for you, then take a step back, kind of like I did, or maybe, you know, venture into a different fashion house. And because of that time off that I took from the fashion house, I feel that ever since then, I'm a lot more selective. I'm a lot more apprehensive as to what I add to my collection, only because of what I experienced in the past. You know what I mean? So hopefully that answers your question. And I'm a big fan of Louis Vuitton. A lot of you guys know that, but I cannot deny some of the things that have gone on since I started buying, way back when. So hopefully that answers your question. All right, you guys, so that does it for MMQA. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I was able to help, and I also wanted to incorporate a little bit more eye candy because I know it is helpful. I know that by adding it onto the eye candy link below, that does end up working out, but if you have it right in front of you, then you don't have to go to a, to a different site or anything like that. So I will try to do that a little bit more. Baby steps. All right, so for this week, I am going to do a video on my recent pickups. I talked about it last week. I picked up a few items, and usually I'll end up doing like an Insta reveal on Instagram versus doing it on YouTube, just because it's a little bit easier. So there's a few things that you guys haven't seen that I wanted to share with you. And I'm going to try my hardest. I know a lot of you guys have been asking for me to do an updated Louis Vuitton collection. Usually I would end up breaking it up by handbags. I think that if I do decide to do a Louis Vuitton collection, I'll just throw everything in there. I'll put the small leather goods, the handbags, everything in there, but that is going to be a crazy long video, I think. Maybe not. So I'm going to try to do that. And between this week and next week, I won't be able to respond to your guys' comments down below, because there's a few things that are in the works that you guys are going to know about probably by next week. And it's just going to be a little crazy because my birthday is this coming Sunday. Yeah, it's this coming Sunday. So it's all over the place, and I need to try to film as much as I can so that there's content, you know what I mean? So again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already and you would like to, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the red button down below and hitting that bell so you're notified when I upload videos, which is anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week. And again, thank you guys so much for the questions, and I will see you all later this week. And as always, make it a fabulous day or not. The choice is yours. Have a great day, you guys.